Welcome to Fans Assemble, where we come together to talk about all the things we fan over, like comic books, movies, sports, or anything else that we love. We hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fans Assemble. This is your host, James. And as we know, very soon, the spooky season is already started. We have Halloween coming up. And I thought, who is better to talk about this stuff in our discussion about Disney Plus's Halloween, almost like a Halloween special, Werewolf by Night. But Ray, I haven't introduced you yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With me is my co-host.
Yes, he decided to bring me back. I don't know why.
Exactly. We still don't know why. We got to talk to HR about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Werewolf by Night. It's going to be a very simple podcast today. We're not going to be doing what does this mean for the universe? So how is this going to get into our taxes, our income taxes, things like that. We're just going to talk about if we like the show, how much we enjoyed it, a quick basis on that, and then we're going to get into spoilers, and then maybe we'll talk about of course it's us, right? We have to talk about how this fit into the Marvel universe. So yeah. Ray, as requested, he does not want to go first. I will go first because he says it's too stressful for him talking about a TV special. So Werewolf by Night. I watched it fairly recently, like a week ago. I was a little late to the game. I enjoyed it. I thought it's a nice watch. It's only like 50 minutes long, so it's not really
short.
that. Yeah, it's not like you have to watch the whole thing or put some time behind. It's only one episode, whatever you want to call it, and it's very compact in my opinion. I think it does a great job of you don't really have to know anything to enjoy it. That's where I was, and because I didn't really know too much about all the characters. I know they existed. I know they're based in monsters and stuff, but I fairly enjoyed it. There's very few things I didn't like about it. Maybe like one time there'll be some parts of humor where I kind of thought, if you took it out, it would have been okay, but it didn't hinder it that much for me.
Yeah.
But one thing I did really like about it, the story is not, in the beginning at least, it's not the most complex thing you watch. Towards the end, it gets better in my opinion. But the thing I really liked was and I'm sure you're going to talk about it, Ray, because you're the one who kind of thought of this idea. Was it kind of reminded me of the old school Universal horror movies?
Yeah.
Like the black and white, even the eeriness.
Like the old Lon Chaney and like Dracula and
yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
Even the music kind of felt that way. The acting a little bit towards the beginning felt that way.
Yeah.
Kind of like a throwback
It was like
to those.
It was like those old movies. Like the beginning was like a slow burn, and then it builds up to the end.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's whoa, there's there's our big reveal. Whoa, that's that more action takes place and so like that. And then the actors become more lively as it goes into it. I know. But yeah, I think it's a great. So before we keep going, what did you think overall of the special? What you liked about it, things like that, right?
I think it was. I honestly I enjoyed it more than most of the Disney Plus shows so far. Honestly, because I think even though it was short, I feel like it did a better job at introducing new characters. The only character I knew was I knew a little bit about Werewolf by Night, but I didn't know about any of the other characters. So jumping into it, I kind of they did a good job at introducing everything. Even though we had it didn't need 2 whole episodes just to introduce it was 10 minutes the intro, and then it got right into it. So
yeah.
I think that
pretty much the action starts 10 minutes in. We're already on.
It was a 10-minute intro, and then it goes right into the main meat of the special. So
yeah,
I think
go ahead.
I think I liked it wasn't serious, but it wasn't scary, obviously, but it did a good job.
Most of the viewers here, me and Ray are pretty wimpy when it comes to
I think it was more like environmental horror, like the buildup of tension,
Yeah.
Not jump scares and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's what I was gonna say was like I said before, it's very old school looking, but also I think it's a great show for maybe for family because like my mom, she really enjoys like the old school movies. Like she liked like Dracula.
Yeah.
She introduced it to me. I'm not gonna say she like loves it, but she
Hmm.
introduced it to me.
Yeah.
And some like such as I don't watch that. Like I watch clips and stuff. So it's a great way to kind of like get that conversation going for family maybe.
And also like introducing like old school filmmaking into like a
Yeah,
modern day, you know?
yeah. Like you said, it's not like well, the action is pretty good. Like it's not like anything it's probably less than like most of the MCU TV shows,
Yeah.
but a lot of it, like you said, it's based off of like the environment, the film, the location,
Yeah.
the set, whatever, the music, the film style, even like the actors. Like I think the guy who plays the actor who plays Jack, I thought he did a great job of like he kind of like acts like sort of like the old school horror movies, but then Gael Garcia, his name is,
Hmm.
he acts like kind of like the old school, and then as the special goes on, he really starts to come into it. So
Yeah,
kind of similar.
like I feel like the first few minutes, like it almost was like a silent movie, almost like mostly it was just like music and then like some dialogue, but you know, like it's like that helped to build the world a little in the beginning.
Yeah, and when they introduce at least his character, like you don't get this ton of background, like oh yes, I'm here because this and that. It's just like
Yeah.
we're kind of being slowly brought into it.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's kind of good because I think like a lot of people I know, they're always worried about getting into the MCU because like, oh, like Falcon and Winter Soldier, I have to remember about this and that about that
Yeah.
character or
Hmm.
WandaVision. Yeah, I think you and I said that's the good part about like Miss Marvel and a little bit of She-Hulk. I mean, She-Hulk, you didn't have to know too much about.
Yeah, exactly.
So this
So like,
one's even better in my opinion because you don't have to know anything.
and plus it was only an hour long. Like they managed to like successfully introduce like all these characters and stuff, and then no
Yeah.
matter what, like 55 minutes.
Hmm.
Definitely like definitely. I think this format's going to be important going forward for like introducing
Characters.
smaller
Yeah.
characters. Yeah.
So, since we are speaking about introducing characters, I think now is the time where we can bring out the spoilers.
Hmm.
Spoiler warning in review right now. That means if you haven't watched Werewolf by Night, which you should, please watch it, especially for Halloween. But
Yeah, I was
please
saying it's
watch it.
Halloween. It's perfect timing.
So don't come to us and blame. Oh, we spoiled it because we already told you that we're talking about spoilers. So, so like you said about the introducing characters, of course I'm a Marvel fan. I'm in my 20s. I'm gonna be that. I'm gonna be the stereotypical fan that She-Hulk makes fun of. I believe that this is gonna be the base point for Marvel to introduce their like more like mythical monsters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We've been
like
going a lot of like
vampires and
science,
stuff. Hmm.
and this will be like. Don't you think like Blade?
Yeah, I
Do
was
you think?
thinking Blade, maybe Moon Knight kind of ties into
Yeah,
it
maybe he'll
somehow.
tie in there, right?
Moon Knight, yeah, like the Midnight Suns. That's basically what it is. Like that's like
And
the Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider.
mhm.
You never know.
And you can even, if you want to, I know he's technically not a mythical character, but you can include Morbius in that if you like,
Morbius,
a
yeah,
vampire.
yeah,
Because
vampire.
uh, and what's it? I think Elsa will probably, in my opinion, she'll probably be like the biggest player to come out of this movie.
Yeah, somehow they're gonna build these characters into it. I don't know if they're gonna have like a major role in the future of the MCU,
Yeah,
but
I feel like maybe like when a Blade movie comes out.
maybe they'll just make cameos, appearances here and there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think
and then
they're not gonna be like the upcoming like Kang
yeah, like
storyline.
they're
I
like
don't think they're gonna be
exactly, yeah,
like I feel like even with like Hawkeye and stuff, I feel like they're setting up like almost like three different plot lines of the MCU going forward. Like you have the Kang plot line,
yeah.
which is
So
multiverse, and then you have like the street
Young
level with
Avengers.
Hawkeye, yeah, and then you have street level with like Hawkeye and Kingpin, Daredevil, and then now we have like the more like mystical side of it with like
Yeah.
monsters and Blade. So
It's good because I feel like you and I were talking about it, and I feel like we've mentioned this before. Like Marvel, like Phase One at least, and I think some of it happened with Shang-Chi. Like they kind of take on this role of like Captain America is like a historical war movie, or
mhm.
like Iron Man's a tech thriller. And then you and I were saying like it's weird because besides Doctor Strange, there's not a lot of magic going on. And this is a great way, I guess, to like give them a little taste of like, all right, here's the monsters and stuff like that. Like get into that side of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like you said, I don't think it's gonna be like Avengers King Dynasty bang or Jack Russell's there to help, you know.
I think mostly like it's gonna be like I think this is gonna be like mostly on Disney Plus, like this kind of storyline. You know what I mean? Like I don't see it
Yeah,
being like almost like with the street level stuff too, with like Daredevil going forward. I feel like that's gonna mostly be on Disney Plus. Like the theater is probably gonna be saved for like the big team up events
yeah.
and like this
And yeah, go ahead, sorry.
the hour long special presentation, the upcoming Guardians Christmas special is the same kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's only gonna be an hour long,
Yeah.
but it's introducing some new characters like Cosmo to the
Yes,
MCU. So.
Ray has been just waiting for his MCU debut of Cosmo.
Yes, and more Guardians content.
Yeah. Yeah. It should I like also like tie like that one is gonna tie things in, but it's not like oh you have it's not something you have to like focus on.
hmm
You know what I mean? It's not like WandaVision, like every episode, like you and I are like analyzing like an Oscar movie.
Yeah, I like to say it's like a little. It's almost like a little bite of like the MCU. You know what I mean? Like you watch it and that's it. Like it's not like you have to wait a whole 2 months, 3 months to see the whole thing played out. It's all right there in like an hour. That's it.
Yeah,
I know. I think I saw rumors that maybe they're gonna introduce Nova into the MCU through like an hour long thing. So
I can see that happening. I've been ever since Guardians 1 came out, I've been thinking when
Nova.
is Nova Prime gonna show up?
I think they could use this for any small character. Like skip the whole show for
Yeah.
them. Just drop an hour long special,
hmm
right? And then maybe
Because,
you can see them later on.
like I like that they decided to make this like a special. Anyway, I mean, like I'm glad they kind of decided to experiment on Disney Plus because
Yeah.
I always feel like Marvel they've kind of stuck to like we talked about our She-Hulk thing. They have like a formula going on,
Yeah.
and I felt like this movie, like this not this movie, this special, I guess. It didn't follow the formula that much, so I don't know if people would like really get behind it. Like I wasn't sure, so it's a good place to put it, I think.
Yeah. I think like it's almost like it's like comic. You have different comic runs, but like they all have their own kind of like style to them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you get these like little hour long specials now that let's say they make I don't know like maybe like Nova could be like a almost like a cop thriller kind of thing.
yeah,
That kind like play with different like She-Hulk. I feel like She-Hulk maybe would have been better as something like this, like an hour long little comedy special, something like that.
mm.
Maybe because it allows them to experiment a little more without having to like do a whole show or a whole movie.
Yeah. I think that's the good thing about the show as well, and I think you said exactly that was like as comic book fans, we're like extremely used to like, oh, like Spider-Man, you'll see him talking to kids and helping them out, and then the Marvel will make an exact issue about like Punisher just like mowing down gangsters with his guns,
Mm-hmm.
and then you and I are like, yeah, this is part of the same world, it's the same thing, and I think that's the good thing about the show because like we always think like of course Avengers Infinity War was like the last big Marvel movie. I guess Spider-Man, but like the one that everybody will definitely remember. And there's a lot of like a little bit of comedy, you know, big fights, high stakes, people getting sucked into space. Like you said, this is more spoiler territory. The whole
Mm-hmm.
movie takes place. The whole special takes place like in a maze.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not even like oh like this big. Also like there's never like a scene where like five people like 100 different like special characters are fighting each other. It's like
Yeah.
at
But
most like
I
yeah.
also
Go
like how
ahead.
it wasn't like super like I know like people like more grounded like the Batman, Joker, stuff like
hmm
that, but it wasn't like too much like that. It still felt like a comic book, you know?
Yeah, I thought in the beginning it felt like not grounded, but it felt very like I don't know, quiet. I guess it wasn't very loud when it comes to like special effects or
Yeah.
action.
Hmm.
But then as it started to turn up, you saw more action, and I thought it made it better. Like by the time, like we knew, like he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Okay, we know that. It's called Werewolf by Night, people.
Hmm.
But it wasn't like as soon as the special started, oh, I'm a werewolf. Like, oh, get used to seeing me like this. It's like
Yeah.
towards the end, they give you a little bit of it, right? And
Hmm.
even in the beginning, they don't even show him that much.
Yeah, mostly they must show Elsa and that what was it, her mother-in-law?
Yeah. They touched upon, yeah, stepmom. I guess like
Yeah,
they
stepmom. Yeah.
touch upon it a little bit, which
Hmm.
I thought was good. Like you don't need to know too much, right?
No, like yeah, I feel like that's like the whole point of these. Like that's why I think like you didn't need to know, like Moon Knight. I think we said that in our review, not the review, but like our ranking of Disney Plus. Like
Yeah.
it was made with like thinking that everyone, like the viewer, knew everything about Moon Knight. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But like it
Yeah.
still failed at like trying to introduce the character. I think, you know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, like also one thing I was very impressed by is this special technically did it with like multiple characters. Like they have Werewolf by Night Jack, Elsa Bloodstone,
Mm-hmm.
Man Thing.
I was say we didn't mention Man Thing yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big.
not a lot. He's probably like the one who like needs a little bit more background, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just like I'm not saying he's gonna be like the same thing, but you know how like people really love like Groot
Mm-hmm.
or like Grogu,
Yeah.
aka Baby Yoda. Like it's a creature that we didn't know too much about, but like we kind of just like him. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's probably kind of like that.
Like well, from what I know of Man Thing, like
Yeah,
I think the characterization is a little different in this. Like they made him like, I feel like mostly his like his whole thing is that he protects the swamp, right?
hmm
And like so in this they're kind of making him like a little more human like. So I think you're right. Like they're trying to set up like a fan favorite kind of character that people kind of
yeah.
love.
Like, oh, look at this thing. Let's be honest, he is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, look at this thing. It's supposed to be scary, but like he's
Oh,
lovable.
and
He's
then
fun.
what is his name? Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
Ted. That's
Yeah,
so
in the
funny.
comics, he's like a doctor, and
Yeah, Ted. Yeah, and then he. I think his story is kind of similar. Not no, not really. His Swamp Thing from DC. Like it's kind of the
yeah,
same idea.
like the looking at him and like his
Mm-hmm.
actions. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's sort of similar.
Mm-hmm.
But, so he's probably the character that got the least development. But I guess you and I are on the same page. That they're just trying to like this is the way you're supposed to look at him, type of thing.
Yeah.
Like here we
Like
go.
they're not like he wasn't the main point of the show. Like it was just like almost like to show how Jack is like relates to the other monsters. Like that. I think
Yeah.
that was his main role in the show.
Also, I think he was just kind of like a little hint of like because Jack, we know he's a werewolf. Elsa, she's in charge of this hunter thing. But in terms of like Marvel TV or movies, that's not like so strange, really.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like you see Man Thing. It's like it's like a swamp creature.
Yeah.
I guess it's just to introduce to you like these people are gonna come out eventually a little bit more.
Do you feel like almost like if they never showed these characters again, like do you think like that would be enough for them? I feel like almost like you don't have to show these characters again. You know what I mean? Like it would be nice, but like I feel like the way they introduce them and stuff,
You
like
don't have to. You
yeah,
know
like
what else is gonna do, right?
you think she's gonna be back?
No, but I mean, like, I thought what you meant by is like, we got like the full gist of the character.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like Jack, I think we understood who he is, but I would like to see like, all right, what does he do besides this? I know he saves monsters, but maybe like one more adventure to get the
yeah,
gist of him.
mm-hmm.
Also, we kind of know like she's like no nonsense, and she's gonna wanna, she's the leader of of the family now, so she has
Yeah,
like the hunter stuff.
mm-hmm.
And Man Thing, he gets like very weird Man Thing. Like he's like with Howard the Duck and stuff. So
Yeah,
maybe that I would kind of want to see. But I get what you mean.
yeah. You
Maybe
know
they
what I
could
mean?
just
Like like sometimes not everything has to be expanded on. But if it's Marvel, like Disney, they want to make money, so obviously
Mhm.
they're gonna be back. But I don't know. I just feel like maybe sometimes like you introduce characters, they don't have to come back.
I think maybe if they just keep them so like you and I said, there's a theory. We have the theory that there was a somebody did have a rumor that Blade was going to show up.
And
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, spoiler, it doesn't. He
that would
doesn't
have.
show
I
up.
think that would have ruined the whole thing. Like that
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like
that kind of a cameo would have ruined it. I think.
also because he doesn't like really fit. Right?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
he's more
think
like
he would.
vampires. I mean, yeah, he hunts like monsters, but he's more of a vampire hunter, not really
Yeah,
like
yeah. Even like
werewolf.
the tone that you and I would imagine for Blade, I don't think would fit into this.
I picture like, what do you picture? I picture like for Blade like almost like, I don't know, like a almost
Like
like John
slight
Wick.
gore, right?
Yeah, like almost like a John Wick kind of thing, like but like with vampires instead of
Yeah. I'm
like.
just trying to. Yeah, I think it would have to be a little bit. His movie would have to be like a little bit more tense,
Mhm.
probably, than this one. Not that this wasn't. But yeah, I think personally, I always think what would be great is since I'm not like, oh, they should do this, they have to do this, but it would be a good idea. Would be Jack maybe like every Halloween until maybe we know they're gonna show up probably eventually somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe like every Halloween they do like an hour long thing with his character. And
Werewolf by Night.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
then they have maybe they could do Elsa too, but it's
Hmm.
just like a way to introduce like another monster
Yeah,
somehow.
like a new monster every year for Halloween. That's
Yeah,
actually a
yeah.
good
So
idea.
it's
Like,
like
yeah.
shows you a different creature, a different problem. You and also like I think for kids who are growing up on Disney Plus or growing up, I guess now in general, they get associated with like Jack, yeah, Werewolf by Night. That's always like a Halloween thing. Like
Hmm.
I hate these movies, and I hope we never talk about them again. But the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen, I was like, I always didn't like them as a kid, but like everybody always associate, oh, Christmas is coming, like oh, the same. So I'm not, hopefully it would be better if they took my idea, but it's sort of like that.
Yeah.
So that's my that's how I would want to do it. Besides, I'd be cool if they don't show up in a Blade movie or anything, but maybe just make them like take a little peek once in a while.
You know,
Once,
I also think like this whole like hour long thing. Like, I feel like they could do like stories like separate from the movies, like with just characters we already know. Like
yeah,
maybe like an hour long of, I don't know, like just like maybe like Sam Wilson taking on a mission or something. Like just like
yeah,
stories that don't have to be connected to the whole MCU, just like their own thing.
yeah. Or maybe they just have them like. This is kind of like not a great example because they're probably never going to do something like this because of the filming rights.
Hmm.
But like, if they did, I think this would be a good idea. Like Spider-Man shows up and then he like
Yeah, I was just saying like maybe
fights
like.
like a bank robber or something like
Hmm.
that,
Yeah,
and
like
just
just like yeah, That's exactly what I'm thinking too. Like not these big events, but like sometimes you want to see like the smaller scale stories too.
yeah. Also, it's a great way. Like, I know you always want a movie about him, but I'm like, this is never gonna happen. He's never gonna be the main villain.
Hmm.
He's Rhino.
Yeah.
Once again, we shouldn't be talking about Spider-Man, but he's like the easiest example.
Yeah.
But like, I always say, like Rhino, we're never gonna get like, oh, who is Rhino? What's
Hmm.
his game? What's his plot?
Yeah.
So we just put him in like you said, maybe like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, like an action scene, a little bit of the status quo going on.
Yeah. But
It,
just to like give us like a taste of like what these heroes do outside of these big movie events.
yeah, exactly. Like I know that sometimes like, oh, Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier is supposed to show you what happened after Avengers Endgame
Yeah.
and the status quo. I'm like, yeah, I understand that. You can show me 2 episodes and I'll probably get it, but you don't have to show me like 8 episodes to get it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So this one was good because it just shows you, bang, here's this other world you didn't know about. Here's a
Yeah.
little bit of it, and it leaves you a tad bit of mystery just in case they want to come back.
That's exactly how I would describe it literally.
So yeah. So overall, do you have anything else to add about it?
No, I think we covered everything. I
Oh,
mean, it definitely is important for the future of not so much about the story of the MCU, but more like like the format, how they're going to move forward with Disney Plus. I think that is the main takeaway. I think I got out of this.
Well, hopefully this is what's
Yeah,
going on.
hopefully.
You never know.
Yeah.
It's just we could be like, this is genius. This is a great idea. Werewolf by Night's like it has like a 91% like Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I was saying, I feel like a lot of people liked it because it was
Yeah.
it was something new, something fresh.
This is probably the most positive thing to come out in a while from them.
From the MCU for sure.
Yeah,
I think other than maybe like Spider-Man No Way Home and maybe
like,
Shang-Chi.
Like universally liked, We're different, of course.
Yeah, which is hard to get with comic book fans, but
so we could be like, oh, this is great, this is perfect direction. And they're like, actually, we're just gonna go back to like every show is gonna be like Moon Knight.
Yeah,
like,
9 episodes long, no idea what's going on.
All right, so that's pretty much a wrap. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed listening because we enjoyed making it.
Yes.
Just last thing, watch Werewolf by Night for Halloween. I know Ray and I have said it a million times. So,
I'm probably gonna rewatch it maybe tomorrow or Saturday.
Oh my! So Ray will give us a part 2 review, a rerun.
Yes.
Right, so that's all. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. See ya. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like what you were listening to, please subscribe to Fans Assemble. And if you can, please give us a rating. Do it for the audio world. They need you.